Hi, my name is Alexander, and in this video I'm going to take you through the creation of a mixed reality experience. The creation will last around 10 minutes. The first element when creating a game is to have a scenario and a theme. Let's go with the theme of dragons and a simple scenario of a mother of a dragon that lost her baby egg. Then you need to go and find the egg. The reward will be to see the egg hatch and admire the first fight of the baby dragon. Second element is the gameplay. Now let's smartly make use of the power of mixed reality technology to enter the era of an innovative location-based gameplay by having the participants physically moving from one location to another and making use of their body skills to interact with a parallel, imaginary and living virtual world. The last but not least key element is the aesthetics. The graphics, the audio and, for example, the animations. They are considered as assets that are imported into the first parallel editor. In the editor, the author will implement the gameplay and the scenario, creating an interactive application where the assets are brought to life. Now, let's start the creation and open the editor. Okay, now the first thing that you want to configure is the playground where your experience will evolve. Now let's, for example, select Hyde Park in London. Now let's have the system look for that place. Yes, perfect. And let's go there. Okay, fine. Now let me present you a little bit the software. So the main thing that you see in the center is the scenario. This is where you will bring to life your story and the gameplay. The story has a start and an end, and what you will put in between will be the logic that will unfold as the story goes on. What you have on the left is the property panel where you can edit properties of currently selected items. What you have on the right is the preview of what you will experience on, for example, the mobile device, but also you have a set of tools which can help you create your playground and configure it. At the bottom, you have all the assets that you have imported, either locally, but also there is a connection to online stores if you want the promotion of online assets. Now let's create, firstly, the game zone. So I'm in Hyde Park and I said I would like 3 different zones: a nest of the mother of the dragons, a forest and a volcano. And I want the participants to evolve from one location to another. So let me create here a zone that will represent the nest. Perfect. I'm going to name it the nest and select a yellow color. The egg will be further away, a couple of hundreds of meters away. And I'm going to name it the forest. Green is perfect. And then the volcano, not too far away. I don't want people to be very tired at the end of the gameplay. And I'm going to name it the volcano side. And I'm going to put it in red. Now I want players to start from the nest of the mother of the dragons, to go in the forest and find the egg, then bring it back. And then the mother of the dragons will ask participant to go and find some fire in the volcano, then to bring it back. And then we're going to have some specific and fun activity here, and then the game will end. Simple yet effective. So it will be around 10 minutes for more gameplay. As I don't know if you have seen, but as I was creating the zones, there was a QR code which was generating, and you can also see there's NFC and beacons items here. When you are moving in space and you can have GPS tracking, then the system will automatically track you and will detect when you are into a zone. But sometimes you are in areas where you don't have the GPS working, for example in a building, but you can still experience the same creations. By that, you can replace the tracking of the zones by scanning either a QR code or NFC or a beacon that is assigned to a zone. So this is also perfect for exhibitions, as an example, or to play indoor into your house. So now I'm going to look into my assets that I ask my artists and a few programmers to prepare for me all the necessary assets for my experience. So the first thing is that what I want to do is to introduce the branding of the company. So here I import a splash screen. I'm going to put this a bit bigger, and this is the first thing that I want to see, powered by First Parallel, which is my company. And this is the first thing that's going to happen when the game starts. This is what I'm going to see. So it will last a couple of seconds. Then the second asset that I want to import is the title screen. Of course, all the assets are configurable if we look into the property panel. Title screen, this is where I want the aesthetics to be introduced. That is, we want to see the cartoony-like aspects of the experience, because this is intended for kids. And I think the graphics made very nice work. By the way, all the assets that you see here come from internet and are freely available. Now this is the second thing that I want the players to see. After the splash screen, I want to see this title. When I press start, then I want the Mother of the Dragons to give a few instructions. Now I'm going to look into my assets library, and here I'm going to take a dialog screen. This is here. Okay, perfect. Mother of the Dragon, I'm going to put it full screen here again. The Mother of the Dragon will introduce herself, because she will gonna do the narration of the game and will give instruction on what to do next. Well, maybe I'm just going to right now and say, go and find my egg in the forest. Okay. Now, once you have the instruction given, of course, you can add more and more speech as you want. Now that we have the instructions, we want now the player to move from the nest of the Mother of the Dragons to the forest. Now he has the instructions, now we want to track him reach that position. And what we can do here is to take what we call a condition, which is going to be geolocation. We want to track him if he's inside the zone. He can be near the zone, he can be outside the zone, in this case inside. So the system handles this automatically for you, all the tracking. We want to track, he will be in the forest, and once he's in the forest, then if he will trigger some information here, to which I will connect, then somewhere world again. I'll say, well, great. Now let's change the text. Great. Great. Now look out for the egg. And now reload the page. Perfect. Now let me arrange my scenario by connecting to make it clear. Now what we want to do is that once in the forest, we want to make use of immersive technologies to immerse the participant into the parallel world. By using the mobile device motion sensors and 360 image, the participant will have to turn around to find the egg. Now let's configure this. Now we can take a block from the pre-built set of activities called VR, which is a 360 image that we will connect right after the instructions. So let's configure this 360 activity. So first, I get a 360 image from my assets, perfect. And I want to find an egg image, perfect. Okay. Now let's configure, select the right image. This one is perfect. I can see the image here. Great. Now I can look at this red camera, which actually shows me where the players start viewing. Then let me put it here. Okay, perfect. Then let me add a little. Let me hide the egg. So I'm going to make an image in 3D, which I'm going to call the egg, and I'm going to create this. Okay. Let me configure this image with the one I just imported. Icon assets, egg image. Okay, perfect. So now I can position the egg where I want. I can make use of with the positioning, I can turn the object, I can position it where I want. Now you might not have noticed, but automatically it generated for me a little trigger that if the participant clicks or taps on the egg, then I can go out of this activity and continue my scenario. Now this is pre-built behavior, but if you want a custom behavior, you can always go inside and go and analyze how it's made. So it has some blocks where it makes use of the zeros and some stuff that you don't necessarily want to handle if you're not a programmer, and you can see that it generated that the egg object, when it's clicked, it triggers an event, it goes out of this activity. Now if you want to create a custom behavior, this is the place where you can do it, and you have a whole set of library which is dedicated for this. Now I'm not going to do this now, and I'm going to use this pre-built behavior. Now when the participant clicks on the egg, then I'm going to go out. And then, again, I want the mother of the dragon to give me instructions. And she said, well, I'm happy you found the egg, but now, bring it back. Okay. Reload with the text. Perfect. Now, what we said before is that we want to make use of physical body. Of course, the participant went from the nest to here. Now he's in this forest. He did find the egg using the 360 immersive technology. Now I want him to bring it back. Well, now what we want to do is that we want him to make use not only use of his physical body, but also the use of his agility inherent when moving from one location to another. So here what we want is that we want the participant to hold a virtual egg into the phone, like it was into his hand. And for this, I asked my artist also to create this dedicated activity, exactly like this. So we want from the forest to the nest, the participant to hold a virtual egg on top. So again, we gave instructions, and we do the right, and we select the right activity, which is here. Perfect. Now, this is how it will work. When the player gets his hands on the right, then the egg will start falling on the right and again on the left, so he has to find the right balance. If he moves too quickly, then the egg will also, with the inertia, go front or backward. Of course, he has to be very careful and not to make the egg fall. And if he does succeed, then we will go out of this green output. And if he fails, then this is red. Then we have to find what will happen if the egg drops. Now let's go just for now in the scenario everything happens smoothly. That is, the person did successfully bring the egg back to the mother of the dragons. That means that in parallel of this, we have to track his position for him to reach inside the zone of the nest. This is how we're going to do it. Now this is perfect. Suppose now the participant went back into the nest. Then again, let's reward him. Great. Thanks. Just because my scenario is not too big, I'm just going to organize it because I want to use this scenario as a pitching view, this visual aspect to promote my game. So here I'm going to just say this is going to be levels. I'm going to annotate my scenario. So this is the egg level, and then I'm going to duplicate this and organize and have the fire level. Fire level. Oops. Okay, perfect. Great. Now just after I enter the red zone, then I'm going to start the fire level. And maybe I can give some more instructions. Go and reach. Go and find some fire near the volcano. Okay, reload. Oh, I said find 2 times and 2 times. Okay, perfect. that we have the instructions, we want the participant to go again from the nest and now reach the volcano. So this is achieved by adding another condition. We want him to be inside again the volcano. So once he reaches the zone of the volcano, what we want him to do is to get some fire using a torch and bring it back to the nest. The torch here, I have the torch activity. That is perfect. Let me just add it here. Okay, that's fine. So in less than a minute, the fire will consume the whole torch. But here what we added is that because we don't want people to be running crazy in the park, we added safety by design, where if it goes too fast, then of course the fire will extinguish. So again, you can go inside the inner body of the box and configure the behavior if you want something custom. Okay, so in parallel of him running to the nest, or not running, then we want another condition, which is he has to reach the nest. Okay, and he will see well, in this case he will not see the map because he will see the torch. Okay, let's say he succeeds. Now if the participant succeeds and bring the torch before it extinguishes into the zone, then the game is almost complete. Now we're going to connect to both. And in this case, we want the mother of the dragon to congratulate. And now let's see the baby hatch, the egg hatch. Okay, load. Okay, congratulations. From this, we created an animation of images showing the egg hatching and a cute little dragon inside. Let me show this to you. Okay, here's the activity. Perfect. And I'm going to put it right next. Let's look at this little animation. Alright, look how cute is this dragon. Now let me connect it. Perfect. The next thing that we want to do, and this is a very important part in the game, is to be able to see the dragon flying over us. So here what we want to do is that we want to look out for a pre-built augmented reality activity that is geolocation based. That is, you will see the dragon only in this position. Now where are we? Here we are. Not in the right place. Now let's go and find Hyde Park in London. Okay. Find the match. We want the dragon to be, let's say, running around here. So let me draw a little path that the dragon will follow. Okay, will fly over all the participants lying there. I'm going to take a dragon. What do I have as a dragon? Fire dragon. Perfect. Let me import this 3D asset, animated 3D asset. And I'm going to put it directly into my scene as a 3D model. Great. Let me look over it. Oh, okay, you're not in the right initial position. Let me turn you around. Great. Now you might look a bit big. No? Let me scale you down and position you. Oops. Okay. Now that will be more of a normal size for a baby dragon. Maybe a bit too big. Okay, so I connect this. Now I want to go in this specific activity and add my own behavior. So I have all the inner body of this activity with some math and some connection to the sensors. What I'm going to look for is that I want the dragon's behavior to follow a route. Let's see, so I'm going to take this dragon and I'm gonna ask the dragon, so that's gonna be the subject. And I'm gonna get the root that I created. Okay, the root is here, perfect. And this is, okay, right. And I'm gonna just restart. Oh. Loop like here. So actually this behavior box is taking the model as an input, is taking the path, and is gonna loop the root for a duration of maybe a minute. Let's say like 30 seconds. So 30 seconds, perfect. And that's it. That's all I have to do. I can come back to my scenario. And this is all I have to do. And I can end the game by connecting to the end game. I can just put this one in here. Okay, so this is my game. I just created. Before previewing the experience directly in the software, I will add a little bit of music which will enhance the game. So that's perfect because I have a nice music here. And I'm gonna add it since the ground start of the game. And because it's a bit repetitive, I will make it loop. Yes. And I'm gonna find this music. Okay, so now I'm set. And let me preview the game directly here in my office. And great music in the background, my animation. Okay, let me start. Ready for a new adventure? Okay, my text, my story. Great. Unfortunately, because I am not in Hyde Park and I'm staying in the office and I don't want to move there, I have some tools which enables to teleport the participant, which is simulated, into the zones that I want to select. For example, here the forest. Let's go. And the rest of the game unfolds, and I can see highlighted when the events are triggered, the yellow lines become red. As we can hear now in this 360 image. Now I see that I forgot to connect here when I click on the egg. When the zone, if I click on the egg, okay, it triggers, and I have now to bring it back. Okay, I get the instruction, I have to move the phone like this, ready. Of course, I can't do this with my computer because I don't have all the motion sensors I have to a phone. But in parallel, I can teleport and simulate that I reach the nest. Let's go. Great. So I'm down with level 1 and I'm going to enter the fire level.